Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Humbert and we're going to go over Unit 5 Learning Target 4 notes. So we're going to talk about the zero product property to start off with for today. So what is a zero product property? Well, the zero product property says that if you're taking two numbers and you're multiplying them together, or if you're taking two things and you're multiplying together, if they equal 0, then one of them itself has to equal 0. It kind of makes sense. In order for us to multiply to 0, we have to multiply something by 0. And that's what this property is saying. So we're going to take the next couple notes and we're going to apply it. So this is where factoring is going to come in this unit. We're not going to use it today, but it's going to come in our next note video. So let's take a look now at number 1. So for number 1, we need to take and set each of our factors equal to 0. So x plus 6 is equal to 0. X minus 4 is equal to 0. The zero product property says if these things are going to multiply to 0, then either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. So all I did is set each of those factors equal to 0. So now I'm just going to solve each of these for x. So here I get that x is equal to a negative 6. On this one I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I get that x is equal to 4. So either x is equal to a negative 6 or x is equal to 4. So that's your final answer for number 1. Let's take a look at number 2. So for number 2, we're going to take each of those factors and set them equal to 0. Because again, the zero product property says either one or the other has to be equal to 0. So here, for x minus 4, we're going to add 4 to both sides, and we get that x is equal to 4. Then, since it's plus 2, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides, and we get that x is equal to negative 2. So either x is equal to 4 or x is equal to negative 2. So it's pretty straightforward. This is really all we're doing with the zero product property today. We're just going to take each of these factors, since it's in factored form, all we have to do is take each factor and set it equal to 0. Now, this property only works if the factors are set equal to 0. If there's two things being multiplied, it has to be set equal to 0. It can't be set equal to 6 or 2. It has to be set equal to 0. So now we're going to solve each of these for x. So here I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, and I get that x is equal to negative 5. Here I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides, and I get that x is equal to negative 12. So your final answer for number 3 is x is equal to negative 5 or x is equal to 12. Let's take a look at number 4. So again, for number 4, we're going to take and we're going to set each of those factors equal to 0. Now this is going to be the same thing, it's just a multi-step equation. So first thing I'm going to do here is subtract 6 from both sides. So then I get 2x is equal to a negative 6. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2 since that x is being multiplied by the 2. And then we get that x is equal to negative 6 divided by 2, which is negative 3. Okay, so now since it's minus 9, we need to add 9 to both sides. So then we get 3x is equal to 9. Now since that 3 is being multiplied, we need to divide both sides by 3. 9 divided by 3 is going to equal 3. So your solutions for number 4 are that x are equal to negative 3 and x is equal to positive 3. Let's take a look at number 5. So for number 5, again, we're going to set each factor equal to 0. So 2x minus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 1 is equal to 0. And now we're going to solve that for x. So for starters, we're going to add 3 to both sides. And then we get 2x is equal to 3. Now, to solve for x, since it's being multiplied, we need to divide both sides by 2. And we get that x is equal to 3 divided by 2. That's one answer. Now for this one, to solve for x, we need to subtract 1 from both sides. And we get that x is equal to negative 1. So our answers are x is equal to 3/2 and x is equal to negative 1. Same thing for number 6. 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. X minus 2 is equal to 0. So for the first one, we want to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and I get 5x is equal to negative 4. Divide both sides by 5, and I get x is equal to negative 4/5. So that's your final answer, for the first one. Then for the second one, we need to add 2 to both sides, and we get that x is equal to 2. So that's your final answer for number 6. Why are we doing this? Let's take a look at this answer. So we need to do a couple of things for this one. So what we're going to do is we are going to first, let's just use the zero product property. So we're going to do x plus 3 is equal to 0, x minus 4 is equal to 0. So we're going to solve each of these for x. And here we get that x is equal to a negative 3. Here you're going to add 4 to both sides, and you get that x is equal to 4. So what we get for our answers is that x is equal to negative 3 and x is equal to 4. Well, if you take a look at the graph down here, you'll notice that we're crossing the x-axis at negative 3 and we're crossing the x-axis at 4. So what does the zero product property tell us? It tells us our x-intercepts. Well, let's just use the box method quickly. So when we use the box method to multiply these two, we're undoing the factoring that had happened. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. So then we're going to write out all of our terms. And we need to combine like terms. So we're going to combine like terms. So 3x minus 4x is just x. So then we get a negative x minus x squared minus x minus 12. Now here's the cool thing. If you were to take this that I just made with the box method and you were to graph it like we learned on the previous note videos, you would get this graph. So if you factor a quadratic, set each factor equal to 0, it'll give you the x-intercepts, which is pretty cool. That's why we're doing this. Let's take a look at another example. So here we want to use the zero product property. So we're going to take and set it equal to 0. Sometimes we'll abbreviate the zero product property as ZPP because that's a lot easier than saying zero product property every single time. So to solve for x here, we need to add 2 to both sides. So we get x is equal to 2. Here, subtract 5 from both sides, and we get that x is equal to 5. Or negative 5, sorry. So x is equal to 2 and negative 5. Well, I bet if we look at this graph, those are the x-intercepts. Sure enough, negative 5, positive 2. Well, let's use the box method to see what quadratic is graphed here. So we're doing x minus 2, x plus 5. X times x is x squared. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. So, writing this out, we have x squared minus 2x plus 5x minus 10. So, then we're going to combine our like terms. So, we have x squared. Negative 2x plus 5x is 3x. And then minus 10. So this right here is the quadratic that's being graphed right here. Okay, so let's just kind of conclude that and get that written on our note sheet. So the solutions for the x you find by the zero product property are the same as the x-intercepts you find by graphing. So I want you guys to write that down and make that note because that connection is really important. That's why we do the zero product property, is so that we can have those x-intercepts, okay? So that concludes your note video for today. Please show me you're completed. Again, you need to have all this filled in for me to consider it completed. Note sheet, and then I will give you the homework. Thanks for listening.